Introduce Nevada County Sheriff's Captain Sam Brown for the latest on the search and rescue efforts.
Good afternoon, everybody. So obviously our search for Kiely continues, and we're trying to do the best that we can to keep things moving in a positive way and attempt to find some clues and locate some idea of where we need to get to. We've been working pretty close with the family, trying to make sure that we're providing them with up-to-date information, but also try to protect from a lot of the ups and downs that have occurred throughout this whole ordeal. We are still looking for any clues, videos, tips, any information to help us to put pieces together and help us to direct where we're going and how we're going to continue to do a search. We are moving into a more limited but continuous search and rescue effort. We've pulled in a ton of resources towards that goal, and I think to date we've had over like 9,000 man hours into searching, which is pretty astronomical. Our biggest problem is where do we go and how do we keep sustaining this? And so we do have some plans that were continued. Our team, our overhead team, worked extremely hard into long hours and continues to work to this day on creating plans that we can continue to follow up on. But we are going to have to switch modes and kind of focus on the investigative end and try to figure out where do we go from there. We still want all eyes and ears out there. We're coming into hunting season. We're hoping for people to have eyes out all over the place, and we're going to continue to put all of our efforts in as a unified command and continue to try to do our best as we move forward. So in the last 10 days that we've been searching, there's been an incredible effort. There's too many agencies, too many people to thank, but it has been pretty astronomical, the resources from air support to ground support to divers and swimmers and you name it, and we probably called and asked for it. And I would say that the majority of resources came in a relatively quick period of time. As we start to transition into more of the background investigative stuff that's been going on and really putting emphasis on that, we continue to work with the detectives. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office is highly invested in that end, as we have been from the very beginning, and we're going to continue to try to do the best that we can to keep things moving forward. The biggest thing that I'd like to say from our end on the search effort is we really appreciate the outpouring of support that's been from the community, from the family, and everything that's been going on. The community members and even folks from outside the community coming in to help look for Kiely and continue doing that search on their own as well is extremely important and has helped us with a lot of, hey, where should we go and how do we do it? I've never seen such great support, but I want to make sure that everybody stays in a positive mode and continues to move forward, because we still need people to have their eyes and ears out there and keep working towards the goal. And our goal, which has never changed from the beginning, is to find Kiely Rodni. Thanks.
I'd like to now introduce Placer County Sheriff's Lieutenant Josh Barnhart for the most recent update on the investigation.
Good afternoon. I would like to also thank Kiely's family for their continued support in this effort. It has truly been a feat. I'd like to commend the community for coming together to support us and all of their search and rescue efforts. I'd like to commend our own search and rescue and detectives, and also you, our media partners, for helping us put out the word about Kiely. We are committed to following through on all the tips that we receive. We are continuing to investigate leads from those tips. Today we have 50 plus detectives that are out and about interviewing and following up on those tips. We've married up with the FBI, our detectives in the FBI, to go out and do that. Another request is for more video. If anyone has more video that they have not submitted, please, there's no small amount of information for us. And more witness accounts from the party. If you have not come forward, if you were there and you saw something, please come forward and let us know. In closing, I'd like to say that we're putting the pedal down, that we're continuing to move forward this week, and that after this week we will be modifying things to a task force style. That means our resources will continue to move forward, but in somewhat of a different manner. Thank you.
As many of you are aware, yesterday we put out an updated photo on a sweatshirt that Kiely was seen wearing at the party Friday evening. Just to provide some clarification on that, we did receive a video evidence showing Kiely at the party wearing the white sweatshirt you see to my left. To clear up any confusion, that same day Kiely was loaned that black sweatshirt you see above the first sweatshirt. And we never detailed or said that she was wearing the black sweatshirt. We believe that Kiely was in possession of the black sweatshirt at some point during that evening, but we have received video evidence showing Kiely wearing the black sweatshirt, and she was seen at the party. I'm sorry, the white sweatshirt, excuse me. So I just wanted to clarify that portion. We've also received confirmation that there is a RAM sticker that is located on the back of Kiely's vehicle, right underneath the rear wiper blade. So we believe this is very important information for the community and anybody in the area who continues to call in any tips to see if they can clarify that they also see a RAM sticker on the back of Kiely's vehicle. That was one notable thing that we've noticed. As you know, we remain committed to finding Kiely. That is all the information we have to share right now. We will continue to share any updates as they come and as we are able to release them to the public to our social media accounts. So at this point, the press conference will conclude. We will limit questions to the press only and 2 questions per reporter in the interest of time, because we would like to get our command staff back to the incident command posts so they can continue their investigation.
Just one. Someone asked me why they haven't sent an Amber Alert yet. Is it because they didn't meet the criteria?
So that question was answered very extensively, about 4 or 5 days in a row. I can have the California Highway Patrol elaborate on that if you can. Thank you.
Sergeant Strecker with the California Highway Patrol and Truckee, and essentially, yes, there's very detailed and specific criteria for Amber Alerts. And as much as we might want to get that information out, the specifications on what has to be met in order to make that wasn't there. We, I think, collectively agree that the big social media push and whatnot that we've had has certainly reached a tremendous amount of people. So I personally feel very comfortable that our outreach in that capacity has accomplished what we could have accomplished with the Amber Alert. And certainly if things do change and that criteria changes, we would again apply for it and see if that'll happen from Sacramento.
You said possibly moving forward in a little bit of a different way. Can you say what that means in terms of personnel and search groups?
Sure, I'll have Lieutenant Josh Barnhart answer that question.
I figured that would come up. So we've identified lead investigators from each agency, Placer County Sheriff, Nevada County Sheriff, CHP, Truckee PD, the FBI, and we will be moving forward in a task force manner. That means that with these leads, we'll be able to cycle personnel through rather than having a large group of personnel here. It doesn't mean the investigation is going to stop. It will continue to move forward. I hope that answers your question.
JD, has there been any change of position by the adults that have advised the teens not to speak? We talked about this a few days ago, that this was a very important part, that there was adults advising the teens that were at the party not to speak and contact authorities. Has there been any change in position with that?
I don't know that that's readily apparent. We only received several reports a few days ago, and since then we haven't received additional reports, but that doesn't mean that people are still telling, other teens potentially or young adults to not come forward. Our detectives and the FBI investigators are extremely committed to interviewing as many people as possible who went to that party, and they continue to do so today.
Thank you.
To follow up on that question, has anyone interviewed by the FBI in the surrounding area been uncooperative with investigators?
I'm going to let Lieutenant Barnhart answer that question.
I would say for the most part, everyone's been very cooperative, yes. And like I said, thank you to the community. Many people have come forward and given us information, but we haven't run into very large roadblocks with people not wanting to give us information. I think what JD was talking about was probably an isolated incident that we were able to get past.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
In the future, will you be able to release the image of Kiely wearing the pink and white shirt?
That's up to the investigators, but at this point, we don't want to compromise the investigation, so this was the only photo we were able to release. Any more questions?
Since the investigation is proceeding in a different way, will there continue to be press conferences and community meetings in the future?
We will not be holding a community meeting today, but we will hold press conferences as needed.
Am I allowed one more question?
Sure.
I have a question from the public, from my listeners.
Sure.
That went out and searched and used the CalTopo. And they want to ask that in what capacity have you used their searches within your searches there, Captain Brown?
Yeah, JD, thanks. That's a great question, and I would still put emphasis that even as the search goes into a limited and continuous mode, that map is still accessible. So anybody that's going out for the length of time that we don't have answers, I would recommend logging on and throwing those tracks out there. So ultimately, when search and rescue operates, there's an overhead team that designs plans and creates them, and we do that based off of information from the investigation, information from the map that folks are going out and using. That doesn't necessarily mean, though, that we don't go out and say search that same area, which is also why we told people, that it doesn't matter if we went and searched somewhere. If you go and search it again, you could literally be standing on a cliffside and not see something that's on the other side based on trees and terrain and rocks and all kinds of various things. And it's happened in many searches and in many areas. And so that still remains a huge possibility. But those tracks are taken into consideration as they come in of, okay, what kind of resource or what kind of push do we go? And is there really good coverage and is the land flat? Then that might indicate something versus if on a topographical map, if there's more slant and slope, and even though people may have walked on the top end, maybe we still need air support to get better eyes on it. But I would say that it has been a tremendous tool. It was fairly innovative from the team that's doing things, and CalTopo for us for search and rescue has always been a huge help, and just adding more tracks and more information doesn't always give us the answers, but it gives us an idea of direction and things. But yeah, it has been helpful in the event that the community is like, why are we doing this? We know we haven't released any maps. We're still not choosing to do that at this time. At a certain point, we may choose to do that, but it's been discussed, and it really doesn't give any benefit or help because we don't have a direction or clue of where to go anyway. So everybody's pretty familiar with where the epicenter of this all occurred, and it is worldwide from that point, expanding out of where do you go. So thank you, though, for that.
No, thank you.
Everybody good? All right. Thank you so much for helping us spread the word. We appreciate it, and we hope to have updates for everybody soon.